Them saying that they got this sweetened deal by the prosecution is false because prosecution contested it.
In Jones's commutation application, they actually cite this operating procedure. So they know that that's why Jordan was let out.
Yes.
Not because they had a secret deal. It was because there was a new calculation, and his team even cited that in their application.
Yeah. The alleged plea deal, it was brought up the defense brought it up, and they also brought it up in the hearing, saying that a plea deal was given to Christopher Jordan, that Jordan is sent by the prosecution, if I'm correct. That's what they did. And whether or not it was used, which it wasn't, and we have documentation to back that up, because he was given that sentence. He was in Arkansas, right? So, and then they did, and we have the documentation that they figured new rules and process on how they calculate a sentence, and that is what was put into place for Christopher Jordan. It was not a predetermined plea deal with him for his testimony against Julius Jones. It just was false. That did not happen. The prosecution in these documentations at the time that he was brought up for Pardon Parole Board under these new calculations freaked out. I mean, they went against it. They contested it. And there's documentation. They were like, you guys cannot let him out. So them saying that they got this sweetened deal by the prosecution is false because prosecution contested it. And it was a completely different rule set than what the defense had said that he got this for. It was a completely different rule set. So again, it's just false. We have the documentation to prove that.
Yeah, in 2014, there was new operating procedures in place on how inmates' credits were calculated.
Correct.
When the crime was committed, those were not in place. And in 2014, when those went into place, the Department of Corrections went in and re-audited all, because what they did is they applied to split life sentences. People that had split life, so meaning some of it was served in jail, some was outside of jail. So they went in and re-audited all those. Jordan was one of those, and due to the new calculation, he then qualified for release.
Correct.
The prosecuting attorney wrote a letter to the Pardon Parole Board and urging them not to. He was convicted of murder. He was convicted of murder, but he was supposed to spend his entire 30 years in jail. But also, as a good point to note is in Jones's commutation application, they actually cite this operating procedure, so they know that that's why Jordan was let out. Yes. Not because they had a secret deal. It was because there was a new calculation, and his team even cited that in their application.
Yeah.
And we have a signed affidavit from the sentencing administration of the Department of Corrections that confirms all that.